Sweet.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, hey. Cool. This is cool. First live webinar going through we're gonna do a live demo of Jellypod and like go through creating a podcast today, I think.
Sweet. And hi, Nazim, all the way
And
from
it's Zoom.
Milano.
Oh, nice. Some people around the world. This is awesome.
That's so cool. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining. So let's yeah, I guess so. I wanted to go through and I know there's been a lot of talk this week around DeepSeek, and these language models coming out of China. Pretty cool story, pretty impressive, and kind of, I don't know, was a shockwave to the tech industry, especially to some of those stock prices. So I was like, okay, I haven't read the technical paper from DeepSeek, and I was thinking, like, what if we put the technical paper from DeepSeek, maybe put some articles or videos or something into a Jellypod and see what that turns out to be, and like do a technical podcast. Like, it'd be kind of cool to be like some parts of the technical stuff, and then talk about like the implications, and I don't know, just like you go through the whole thing.
Totally. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm excited to learn. I feel like I've heard so much about DeepSeek over the last, 7 days that I would love to know a little bit more about what's under the hood. I've heard all these things thrown around, um, like experts, right? What was that expression, Pearson?
It's a mixture of experts model, sparse
There it is.
model here. But yeah, I mean, likewise, I think that I haven't spent the time this week to read the paper. I know we're Meta and everybody is trying to understand what they did. They have like some war rooms going on. So yeah, I mean, Jason, if you wanted to share your screen and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
I'll go
like,
ahead and hop into it. I'm finding the paper. This is the one that came out on the 22nd, right? DeepSeek R1, incentivizing reasoning capabilities in LLMs.
right on, yeah, archive. I think maybe let's download that as a PDF. But let's share your screen and show everybody what you're doing, and how we're going about creating this podcast.
Sweet. Let's see how I can. If I want to keep the a certain this window share. Cool. All right, so I think you can see my screen here. I'm on the Jellypod homepage, and I also have a tab open here with the paper. So I was just on the website. I clicked View PDF. Now I'm going to go ahead and download that PDF, and I'm going to make a Jellypod. The first thing we thought we'd show people how the sign up goes. So very quickly, what's today's date? The 29th. Let's call. I'm going to go ahead and sign up. I will quickly hop over to my inbox. I'm doing that off of screen. I'm going to go ahead and confirm sign up. Email address confirmed. Awesome. So
Sweet.
here I am in an empty Jellypod. Very cool. I haven't seen one of these in a while. It's kind of fun to run through it again from it, because if you all see my my personal account that I use often, I've got like 40 Jellypods in there, a podcast series, and then loads of episodes.
Right. Me too. It's funny. The imagery is funny too that I have in mind. I have like a bunch of just random like AI generated cover art, but also just like our default text-based art. And hot tip, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll release an AI art generator directly in Jellypod. So one click based on your title, we can do some cool things there rather than going to like ChatGPT or whatever. So
Very cool. So for people who are just following along, what I just did is the first big step. So like a big part of the magic of Jellypod in our book is host customization, right? We believe it's sort of not just important thinking about what's being said, but who's the one doing the saying. So I went over to hosts. We have a default host, Eric. We'll go ahead and use him. But I figured we should make a new one as well. Pearson, what kind of who do you think would be a good co-host to discuss this paper?
So do we want do we want it to be like someone technical, like really deep understanding? Do you want it to be like a little bit maybe like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
technical
I think that'd
person?
be good.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Eric's going to be the casual observer. He's going to be
Okay.
the um
Sweet.
the Joe Schmo.
Let's
So
do what's a funny name here? I have a book. Right. It's sometimes hard to think of a name on the spot. I know we have that AI create button, but see what it
let's
creates.
let's see what kind of happens here. Um, let's combine one of the. Let's see who the authors are. Um, we
I have a
can.
book right here. We could do Ricardo Smith is the easiest last name I always choose. We could just do
Or
one
I have a
name.
Dia Fiona. Who's Fiona Riley? 32. Oh, expert in digital storytelling. An expert in AI technologies. She's a PhD in what her PhD in computer science, or would be in something more technical, even more specialized, I should say.
Let's say she's a professor of computer science.
She's a
Easy.
professor of computer science. Sweet. And let's just do a voice design. See how this goes. All right, awesome. I
Oh,
wonder if people will hear this, the system audio, because it's in my headphones. Um,
oh, I think what we could do here, I can't hear it. So if you go to settings,
just gonna go
um,
ahead and pick that one and save everyone the timing. This one I like. You'll hear it. It'll be a surprise.
perfect. Okay.
So we go ahead and create that. See if anyone's in the chat asking anything. Where are you guys from? Nazim, we are from the West Coast of the United States. I'm based up here in Seattle, and Pearson is down in Los Angeles, but we met up here in Seattle. All right, so we've got our two hosts, very exciting, and now we're going to go make a podcast. What should we call this? Anything? You have anything witty? Any witty puns about research papers?
I mean, we could, yeah, we could do, uh, yeah, research or
The AI files. I'm like, it's like a pun on X Files.
AI
AI
files. Sounds
files.
good.
A discussion of AI. A technical discussion of AI papers. Did I misspell that? Yes, I did. And is there anything else, Pearson, that you want to, have this thing focus on?
Um, no, I think this is good. And just like to make this more obvious, so this is like the podcast series. So when you go and you listen to like your favorite podcast, whether that's like Joe Rogan, good example. You have the Joe Rogan podcast, and that's like the series, and then we're gonna go and create the episode, which is gonna focus specifically on DeepSeek here.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and you can think of this. You can think of the podcast as sort of this like thematic umbrella, right? So like what you put into this, the fact that this is now a technical discussion will permeate through every episode that you add. So this is also a great way to, um, ensure almost like a thematic consistency across episodes.
Right, right. And that was pretty cool how it picked up it's a technology and education, like the categories there. So those are the categories that are showed in Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the places you distribute it. So we didn't have to choose those; it just knew. That's pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, great shout. All right, I think I've already downloaded this. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new episode. So what's cool is this is sort of the starting point of the creation flow. You got a few options. You got actually lots of them. You can go into a blank episode outline. If you already have this sort of like text-based kind of story arc in your head, go ahead and go there. We want to, talk more about DeepSeek. So we're going to go ahead and attach this most recent PDF. But also what's cool is you can attach URLs. You can put, your thoughts. Let's say there's a particular, thematic lens that you want to apply. You can put it as a text source and then click add source. Pearson, is there anything that you want to add, like feed into this? Do we want to pull in YouTube videos? Do we want to?
Maybe let's open up another tab and like type in DeepSeek and like let's find an article from some news outlet that kind of gives a higher level non-technical perspective. So um, maybe the Washington Post one right there, like any of these kind of will help provide this other point of view about why. Maybe let's not do Washington Post. Let's go and do it like from um,
Well, Binance is the number one.
5 hours ago. I mean, that one's probably interesting because it's talking about distillation and how they got the data. So let's put this. Let's see if this one can get in there. Oh, that's cool. So the PDF got summarized below. You can see that succeeded.
As you can see, based on like just expect the bigger the file that you add in, this process will take a little bit longer.
Sweet.
Cool. And anything else, Pearson? Or should we go ahead and click create?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So now what you're seeing is the system is taking all the information in from your sources, processing them, kind of you can call it summarizing it, you can call it like kind of chunking, but it's forming an ideal outline that it thinks would make a good podcast episode. And yeah, thanks, Nazim. But I mean, if you have questions in the flow, feel free. I mean, we're down to have it be a two-way conversation. And anybody really who's listening to any of these streams, this is our most watched stream. So
Nice.
one of many.
Yeah, and this is kind of like what we're thinking here is we're going to do like a weekly Wednesday kind of podcast creation where we'll just kind of throw in anything. We'll kind of take suggestions from the audience. Today, I know we didn't take suggestions. I thought this was pretty relevant, but we can do something on like when earning season comes around, throw in earning documents and whatnot. And this is completely live, so we'll see. It looks like that line's taken some time here. A lot of info in that PDF, probably to parse. But
Yeah, they always warn you. They say the number one thing is don't do live demos.
that's the
But
best.
we are not listening to that advice.
That's oh, there we go.
There it is.
Perfect.
This is the confidence we have in the system is that it will do it. So as you can see here, I'm completely out of my depth, so I'm going to definitely rely upon Pearson to give some more intelligent guidance here. But yeah, I mean,
Can we zoom in a little bit on this too? Just
yeah, totally.
maybe a few clicks in.
Yes. How's that?
That's definitely better.
I can go deeper. I also wonder if I can.
Let's do one more, just so the audience can see. I think it's too much. Okay,
Too much.
perfect.
There it is. All right.
At some point, you get buttons that are too big and everything kind of looks weird. So
yeah, just one giant generate.
Exactly. Sweet. Okay, so let's read in here. I mean, so DeepSeek R1 Innovations and Ethics of AI Distillation. So that's the description of the episode right there. Okay, so it's interesting. So it decided here that chapter 1 is going to talk about the paper. So it looks like what are the key methodologies that it used? The cold start data, that was big. I know they did some unique caching, like KV caching, benchmarking, which is huge. To talk about that, discuss distillation process. So that's cool. So right here on chapter 1, the last bullet that the outline generated was talking about distillation, and the article that we pulled in from Binance was all about OpenAI, how DeepSeek looked like they distilled OpenAI's outputs to create DeepSeek. Which I wonder if you'll talk about the terms of service, that technically is against OpenAI's terms of service. So maybe it talks about this. But let's see. It segues pretty nice to
Oh,
chapter 2.
that's fascinating. I'm excited to hear more about this whole a DeepSeek being based on distilled OpenAI outputs.
Right. And yeah, so I guess if you ask DeepSeek, like, who are you? It'll say it's ChatGPT. So that was like the
Oh,
big thing.
wow. Okay, so at some point, just out of curiosity, does that pop some of the bubble in your eyes, or is it still just as impressive? Because it's like, just from from a marketer's perspective, um, when you've built something awesome, but it's on the back of a incredibly difficult, first principles engineering
It's,
lift.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, this is kind of like what's happening with these models. You create a big model, like 400, like Llama 405B or whatever, and then you distill that down to those smaller models. And so
yeah.
but you use your own models. But let's see what it talks about. So okay, so chapter 2, that looks pretty good. I mean, controversies. Is there anything we want to change? Analyze OpenAI's claims.
Yeah. So how do you feel about
That's
this
that
arc?
the last bullet. Let's just remove the last bullet here on chapter 2. Let's just take out David Sachs's insights.
Okay.
That's good. Let's do, and then chapter 3. It's going to be the conclusion. So assess significant implications here, considering long-term effects. Highlight forward-looking strategies. In the conclusion, I don't like that conclusion. Well, it kind of doesn't really make sense, like, to talk about this. Maybe let's go.
Do you want to bring it back to the
Should we?
technical aspects, or
Yeah,
just delete the chapter
before we
entirely?
delete the chapter, let's copy that first bullet here
This one?
and let's put that
Sweet.
into chapter 2.
You got it.
And now let's delete chapter 3.
Sweet. And fun fact to people who are following along here, the every chapter is equal to about 2 to 4 minutes. You can always find it here. So by doing what we just did, we just shortened our episode by about 1/3, or about 2 to 4 minutes. So now you can expect this next podcast to be somewhere between 4 to 8 minutes long. So this is a way to make things punchier, make things longer. Just wanted to flag that for folks. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah,
click generate transcript. Sound good?
sweet. Yeah, sounds good.
I guess I should have done that riff while we were waiting for this to generate. But as you can see here, what's cool on the right side that just appeared is, you can see just, I guess I want to make sure that people are very cognizant of these, like, statuses, right? So after you click a button, they're responsive and they tell you what's happening. So you press generate transcript, now it's generating, and now it opens up the transcript editor, which is this entire right side panel that you're looking at. And when a script appears, this lower transcript editor section will pop up, and you will see all the stuff inside of it.
Exactly. And if you want to show them, like, the episode sources up by the generating button, just if you click on that, it just shows you what the source material is. So when it's generating this transcript, it's going to use your outline and combine it again with all that information. So it's like what we call it's a human in the loop creation process and keeping you in the driver's seat. So there we go. We got that transcript over there.
So this is sort of the final step. This is, like, as Pearson just mentioned, the human in the loop. This is a big part of what we believe in at Jellypod, which is that AI and humans should work together to make content and really just to bring the vision of the creator to life. So as part of that, the transcript is that final stamp of approval that you get to making sure that the words you're using are correct, the the point of views and perspectives taken on everything are correct. Pearson, do you want to review this whole thing, or should we let it ride?
Let's let it ride, but just to show them, let's like remove in that first sentence, like let's remove Fiona. Let's just do so DeepSeek view. Yeah, just let's delete that. Perfect.
Sweet.
Now we're generating audio.
And this won't mess with it, but I do want to show people, just because I saw the edit, something that people should know is that when you go to the bottom of any speech block and you press enter, it creates a new speech block. So you can completely, if you feel like you really want something to be said, you can do that. You can switch who's saying it. And the same, and then you can just delete to close it. And the same goes at the beginning of a speech block. If you press enter, then one appears at the beginning of it.
Right. But so perfect. But we can, if you put your cursor on that right before so.
Oh yeah.
And then delete. There we go.
There it is.
Some
live tech support. Thank you for that.
Yeah. There we go. Audio's generated. It looks like 6 minutes long. We didn't put any intro or outro music here. We could do this. Maybe we'll do it offline. But you could drag in any MP3 files.
I have some intro music that we can
Nice.
throw on here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a little like futuristic rock and roll for the AI. For the AI
Sweet.
podcast, the AI files. I wish I could play it right now and people could hear it.
Let's click that share button. Let's get that share link.
And
let's post that into the chat. Yeah. So anybody that wants to hear, we have it. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't think even Jason has. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's terrifying.
Let's show them what it looks like what it'll look like for them if they click the link.
Good point. So yeah, if you click on the link that just went out in the chat, you'll come to this page. You'll notice, the familiar information that you already have from your edit screen, but this is, the public way of sharing podcasts outside of things like RSS feeds and Spotify and Apple and YouTube. I actually prefer to look at this one 100%.
There we go.
But yeah, so as you can see here on the left, you'll have the transcript. You can see the main, the chapters. It'll bounce you right down to the chapter. And you can copy the RSS feed and add it into your podcast reader of your choice. So, there's really a few, handy things about this page.
Yeah, sweet. And then let's go back to that transcript page, like internal. And you click play here if you want. I know it's not going to show for us or show the audience, but I know Jason's hearing it. Hopefully it sounds good.
The rock and roll. I wish you guys could. I almost want to just unplug my headphones and just put it in the mic. You think the mic will catch the? You think it's worth doing or no?
I think next week we'll figure that out so we could get the audio through the stream to show everybody.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. We're building week by week.
It's the first time we did one of these live completely. So yeah. And I guess what are we good to publish this? And what does publishing do?
Yeah, publish blasts like this thing into every place that you want it to be. So the main technology that we're using for this is RSS feeds. Everybody, even free plans, get an RSS feed. But the critical part is if you want to distribute this onto the main podcast platforms, you should subscribe to a paid plan. And then what's awesome is you can hook in your RSS feed, attach it to YouTube, to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. And there's a list of directories that you can easily hook in. Then you press save and publish. And just like that, your podcast will go to all of those platforms that are integrated.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, so far we got, some awesome people who are using it. It's really exciting. I'm just like constantly finding pockets of new episodes, new types of content. I was hoping that we could have permission to share one like super so I was talking to Pearson yesterday about this, but we experienced our first like super moving podcast made on Jellypod that like made we've laughed, we've been informed, we have yet to feel like an emotional attachment to the host. And there was one that really did it for us yesterday. But just out of respect for all of our creators, we just we like to get that explicit approval. So we're not going to share it with you today. Hopefully, we get an approval by next week. But that was just really exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. And then I guess like right here, right next to that play button, I know we have a few buttons there. So there's the play button, there's the share, download the audio, right? So you could download your MP3, and then the captions. So this was a big one too. I mean, for accessibility reasons, this is that caption file that you could upload directly to YouTube or to any of your um, places that need those captions with timestamps. So like the videos will show the right captions moving at the right time. And that's automatically integrated into your RSS feed, so your captions will work. Yeah, so I mean that was pretty cool. I'm excited to listen to this because I want to get a little understanding of what they were doing to make this the R1 model, the reasoning model. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's it. Okay.
That's sweet. Well, we wrapped up. We have 3 minutes left. Any other questions? I know, Nazim, you said you had some questions you wanted to save to the end. This would be a great time to let them fly. They should be coming in. And anybody at all, if you have any questions, thoughts, shout outs, feel free to drop them in.
And if you want to contact us, if you go to the website, there's a little button on the bottom right hand corner. We're on there all the time. So just ping us through that help center. And I don't know where I went. It's interesting.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting. The main thing. Oh, well, yeah. But trust us. There's also a help center. But if this thing doesn't appear, so in the help center, it'll certainly appear. We're going to look into why that was disappearing here. You also have this handy dandy submit feedback. You put stuff here, and what's cool is this goes in the exact same place that the needed help place goes, which is to our phones, and we are immediately ready to respond. So please feel free. Okay, Nazim, we have a question. There's in some articles. I see. Pearson, do you have any thoughts on Nazim's question of how to ensure that is that I just want to make sure that that's probably in the transcript, right? Or do you mean into the outline itself?
Yeah, because the extraction of the text from the website should be pretty exact. I don't know if you're actually going to be able to see that, so I'm assuming that's either the transcript or the outline.
Yeah. One main tip that I've seen to address some of this. So sometimes if you have a very open-ended host and you have a backstory where they're just like a storyteller, let's say, they might be inclined to tell more stories. While if you were this person has a dry sense of humor, is incredibly factually accurate, and only sticks to the source material or something. You always have the ability to influence the podcast, especially the transcript, via the host backstories.
Right. So it's like if it's a slight hallucination there, that's okay. Like let's say you're talking about monetary values and it says $1 billion instead of $1 million. Like that might be easy to just like go into the transcript and just replace it manually. Like AI is not going to be perfect in any way, but giving you that flexibility to kind of go in and just be that set of eyes to make sure it is correct. It's like super important. But yeah, like Jason said too, it's like you could also say in the chapter outline, like, yeah. So yeah, if depends on the content, right? So if it's really open ended, and the outline is wrong, you just have the ability to change it. So it's like that's kind of the safeguards there is that all hallucinations are correctable if there are any, and we're looking to improve them and reduce them as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think Nazim, I think what like just all your questions, I think, are just pointing to why it's so important to have this human in the loop process with AI content creation. Because you can imagine that if there weren't these safeguards in place, if you couldn't impact the outline, if you couldn't edit the transcript, you'd be left with something that was 80% right, but the 20% that broke it made it unpublishable.
Right.
So that's a big part of what we're doing, is just trying to help you streamline this process.
Right. And then Nazim, on that link, just shoot that link to us like over the chat box, and we'll get in touch with you, um, and we'll help you through that process and take a deeper look. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's at our time. Um, Sent, yeah, Nazim, looking forward to that link in the chat. I guess, yeah, we can wrap it up there.
sweet.
Um, well, thanks, Pearson. That was exciting. I also am looking forward to listening to this. DeepSeek feels like it's a very exciting thing for our time, or for our
Maybe,
space.
right, right, and give it a listen. I think if it's good, maybe we'll put this one on our homepage on our website as an example, if we like it. So you might be able to find it there. If not, the links in the description and in the chat. So yeah, Jason, is sweet doing this, and I'll see you again next Wednesday for another one.
Yep. See ya. All right.
Cool.
Bye, everybody.